Alright guys, just made it back to Florida from Alabama. If you guys watched my last video on painting the front bumper, I was preparing the truck to go to a truck meet in Still, Alabama this weekend. But I had a little story to tell you guys first. If you notice the blanket underneath my truck, I'll tell you why that's there. So the whole plan for this weekend was get up Friday morning, have everything packed, leave my house, which is in Florida, and to go to Montgomery, Alabama, which is about 3 hours from here. Stay in Montgomery with a couple friends. Go to Auburn Saturday morning, tailgate a little bit before the game, leave from Auburn and go to Steele, Alabama for the truck meet, which the gates open about, I want to say 2 o'clock. So it was hang out in Auburn for that, or hang out in Auburn Saturday morning, then drive up to Steele, which is about, I want to say 2 hours north of Auburn. Well, Friday morning I get up, crank the truck, go ahead and start packing everything in it, walk back inside, get the rest of my stuff, come back outside, and as I'm walking to my truck, I see there's a puddle underneath it, and I think, oh man, don't tell me I have a problem with my truck right before I'm about to get on the highway. Well, of course, I get underneath my truck, and I have 2 coolant lines leading to my transmission that are rubbing up against each other. There's two little metal lines, and they're rubbing up against each other, and ended up putting little holes in each other from, I guess, from the vibration of the truck, and it started leaking transmission oil, or coolant, whatever you want to say. So I start freaking out. I'm like, oh crap, I'm not gonna be able to make this truck meet. Everybody's waiting on me. I want to drive, blah, blah, blah. Well, I start calling around to a couple places, and luckily there's a shop that's open that I can go ahead and take it to them. Well, that's all cool and dandy, but I still have the parts for it. So I start calling around, and no one in the town that I live in has any parts for a 1999 Dodge Ram 2500. Well, a town an hour or so from me happens to have these transmission lines. So I get in the truck, drive it, I pretty much limp it over to the shop, which is about 5 minutes from here, and they start tearing apart the truck. Well, then I get in another car with my buddy, and we drive an hour and a half to get these lines and an hour and a half back. Now it's about, I want to say 12 o'clock, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, man, I have to have this done today so I can go ahead and leave. I have a huge weekend ahead of me, and I want to have fun. You know, I've been waiting for this truck meet for so long. I'm trying to prepare the truck for all this, and of course, the day before, or the day of the truck meet, or the day before, I'm sorry, this is Friday, the truck meet, my truck decides to, screw me over. Well, luckily, the shop was able to put the lines in, refilled all the oil, and we're good to go. I want to say I hit the road about 4 o'clock Friday, and I get to Montgomery, I want to say 7:30. Park the truck in the hotel parking lot, go get my room, load everything in my house, or load everything into the room, get everything all fine and dandy. And about 9 o'clock, I'm like, you know what, let me go check on the truck, make sure there's no leaking, and make sure everything's tight, all the fluids look good, and so on and so forth. Well, I walk out the door, and I see the truck, and it's nighttime. I can see that there's a huge puddle underneath my truck, and I'm like, shit. I'm like, of course, now I'm going to be stranded in Montgomery, Alabama, and I won't have, anybody come be able to get me, because I'm by myself. All my buddies are in Auburn waiting on me. And so I get underneath the truck, and there's no oil underneath it. I'm like, this is kind of weird. I was like, maybe the oil spots were already in the parking spot before I parked there. So I was like, okay, well, hopefully that'll happen, or hopefully that's the issue. The oil was already there beforehand. So I went in my room, went to sleep, got up the next morning, same thing. There was a little bit of oil underneath my truck, and at this time when I got out the next morning, I'm sorry, Saturday morning, I looked underneath my truck just to double check again, and there was a couple drops, nothing too major. I was like, okay, maybe this was oil already on the truck from the transmission lines. I just didn't clean off, it's just falling off. Didn't think anything of it. Drive to Auburn, which is just about an hour from Montgomery, park the truck, hang out with my buddies for a couple hours, walk back out to the truck, and there's, probably 2 or 3 small puddles underneath the truck, and then I start freaking out again. I'm like, shit, I have to drive to, Still, Alabama, which is about 2 hours from here. I wonder if the truck will make it. So I check all the fluids, and the entire way up to Montgomery, the entire way to Auburn, everything ran fine. The truck didn't act any different. All the fluid levels looked good. And in Auburn, I, checked the fluid levels again. Everything looked good. Truck was still running good. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to freak out about it. I'll go ahead and drive it to Still. I've been waiting for this truck meet forever. So I drive it to Still, hang out there, and I'm in a parking spot at Still, and sure enough, there's, more oil spots. There's probably about 6 or 7 this time. I'm like, I'm freaking out again. I'm like, well, what's going on? So I pop the hood, check the oil levels again. Everything's good. Crank the truck, let it run for a second. Nothing's, draining oil. Nothing's dripping bad or anything. I don't even see a drip. And all the gauges are good for oil, oil pressure and oil temps and everything. So I'm like, well, this is weird. Why is there oil underneath my truck every time I drop it off somewhere? But everything's running the same. All the oil levels are good. Nothing's crazy or out of the ordinary. The truck's not sounding any different. It's not, white smoking out the back or anything. So I'm like, okay, I'll just baby it back to Montgomery. So hang out in Steele all day, drive back to Montgomery, stay the night again, wake up the next morning, and it's even worse. I'm like, okay, what's going on? So this time though, when I woke up the next morning, which is today, I wiped it all off now, but there was oil, as you can, I don't know if you can see in the camera or not, but there's oil all down the side, like all right there, and all in the wheel well. I don't even kind of see it better right there. This is where this is gray, and this is all oily right here. And it's all over my rear axle, and there was oil all down the side of the truck, I guess from where I drove from Steele back to Montgomery, but I didn't see it because it was at nighttime. So I parked the truck, went to the room, didn't think anything of it, because I was at Steele probably until, I want to say 11:30. I didn't get back to the hotel room till about 2 or 3. So as soon as I got back to the parking lot, I just parked the truck, turned it off, ran to my hotel room, and hopped right in bed. So the next morning when I got up, I saw there was oil all down the side of the truck. I don't know if there's anything right there, but I wiped it all off with a towel. Let's see if I can get underneath here and show you guys a little bit better. I mean, you see my air dog. I mean, I even have oil right here, and it's all down the side. I have it on the sump down there. I don't know if you guys can see it any better down there. This is all oily right here. Get underneath here. These are the 2 new lines that I put on here. This black one, I guess they Dodge ended up I guess changing the, I'm not seeing the name of it, but these 2 lines used to actually be right beside each other, like right on top of each other, and they used to kind of do this with the vibration of the motor, and they ended up putting holes in between the 2 lines. I guess Dodge didn't remanufacture it, so they're not touching anymore, but these are the 2 new lines. And then look, there's even more oil. So, but these aren't leaking. I don't know what's going on. This is all oil, I think, from up here. And sorry for it's all dirty right now, obviously, because everything is covered in oil right now. I mean, my drive shot, there's all oil right here. So I don't know where the oil really is coming from. Like I said, I just pulled up to the house, so I'm gonna try to take a look at it. And I'll probably end up finishing this video as my neighbor drives in the driveway. I'll probably end up editing this video real quick and throwing it on YouTube, and then come back out here and try to fix everything, or see at least where the oil is coming from. I can't tell if it's just a slow drip, and from me driving it 3 hours back home, it just kind of covered the entire, undercarriage. I'm hoping it's just, a slow drip, because whenever I park it, as you can see, nothing is dripping. I mean, other than my AC, because I just got here, but nothing is dripping oil. I have the blanket underneath here, and it's actually pretty dry. I don't even see any wet spots, honestly. But like I said, I'm gonna see if I can edit this video real quick, throw it up, and actually, if you guys are watching this on Sunday, I'll be out here cleaning all this undercarriage to see if I can find out where it's at. But I didn't get to film as much as I would have liked at Steele, Alabama. But what I did get, I'll go ahead and throw in the video right here. Oh, and just to throw this in here too, this was the bumper that I painted, and it's been a couple days now, and 600 miles later, as you can see, it's all covered in bugs, but the paint and everything still looks good. This is all dusty up here. Poor little fellow right there. But other than that, the bumper looks really, really good. Paint's not chipping or anything, and I had a blast at Steele, so now we'll get to that footage.
go! Don't give a damn if you do the walk around the taco and you put hashtag basic bitch. I gave Daddy a bunch of blowies for that truck. Come on, Skinny! Come on! Pull off, Skinny! Sounds like stretched assholes and clapped exhaust. I can still smell the wet plastic dip.
sharp looking truck though.
I don't know who. Do you know who drives that truck? I ain't never seen